I can't afford this. In my opinion, these are some of 4 of the most powerful words, but before we break it down, let me tell you a story from Ryan Holiday's Ego's the Enemy. It's the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, a terrible monumental time when brother fought against brother to create the United States that we have today. Now, that time marked a very important journey for 2 specific men. Number 1, Ulysses S. Grant. Number 2, William T. Sherman. Now, they've been deemed 2 of the greatest strategists, generals, leaders of the Civil War that led the Union to victory. And after the war was over, they actually were both very strongly encouraged to run for president of the United States. But this is where their paths differ significantly. Now, Ulysses S. Grant ran for president and won, but his motive was political power and financial glory. And this continued throughout the rest of his life. Listen to how crazy this is. His incessant need for money and reputation led him to ending up penniless at the end of his life, so much so that at the end of his life, he was frantically trying to write down his memoir that could be sold after he died, as he was on his deathbed with throat cancer. Now, William T. Sherman, on the other hand, did not run for presidency. He knew what he wanted, he knew what he was, and he lived his days out happy in New York. Now, Ryan Holiday, he analyzes these different paths from both men, and this is what he says. He says, what is rare is not raw talent, skill, or even confidence, but humility, diligence, and self-awareness. And that is the key, self-awareness. Now, let's get back to those haunting first 4 words, I can't afford this. Now, where most people miss the ludicrousy of these words is not understanding the meaning of them. You, a capable decision-making human with can't, an agency-stripping word, it makes no sense because you, as a human being, simply can. You see, the word I denotes you, a human who was instilled with the ability to choose. So putting the word I next to can't, it actually literally doesn't make sense. A sense of self-awareness will give you power over these words, but where things get even more muddy is when we try to understand the word this. I can't afford this. Most people don't even take the time to be self-aware enough to know what this even is. Like, what is it that you're actually saying no to? What is it that you're saying you can't actually afford? What is it that you actually want? Now, William T. Sherman knew what he wanted, which is why he knew what he could afford. He knew what he could say yes to, he knew what he could say no to, because he knew what he wanted. Now, Ulysses S. Grant didn't really know what he wanted, which is why he was influenced by person after person, seeking their approval rather than his own, which led him to make all of these faulty decisions. Now, the point isn't that Ulysses S. Grant wanted this life of grandeur while William T. Sherman didn't. That literally doesn't matter. It's just a matter of preference. But what does matter is that Ulysses S. Grant lived a life to please others, while William T. Sherman lived a life to please himself. One knew what to say yes to and what to say no to, the other didn't. One knew what to compromise and what to not, the other didn't. One was the determiner of their fate and the other lacked the self-awareness to do so. And finally, one knew what he could afford and the other didn't. And when, like William T. Sherman, you know what you want, you can always find a way to afford it in time, relationships, money, business, anything. So, here's to knowing what you want, claiming it, and refusing to let I can't afford it